our former Prime Minister of Sweden, Mr. Fredrik Reinfeldt. Thank you.
You do say that the world order is out of order, and in such a landscape, it can be really hard to navigate. So I wonder, what kind of trends would you say that Swedish companies has to pay attention to, not to lose sight of what's going on out there?
Well, sorry to say, it's not as easy to be global in this world. So probably start narrowing closer to home, and we actually see this already. The ideas of the 90s to go to production facilities far away in other parts of the world, now closer to home. It's safer, it's more like-minded, and look out what kind of world are emerging, because there are many markets where you cannot be active in the near future.
And many Swedish companies do try to stand up for human rights, democracy, sustainability, and other really sound values, and therefore also saying no to markets that don't really meet those standards. But you say companies should think again. Why is that?
Because if everyone is doing that, we will decouple the world, and we are already heading in this direction.
We will exclude anyone who is not us. There's a lot of going on about that in the world.
Then the authoritarian-run part of the world, they will only speak and trade with each other, and the leftovers will be the democracies. And the problem with the headcount is that we are in a clear minority, and they are much, much bigger. So I think that's a dangerous world. So what I'm saying is stand up for your values and push them into your talks going into more difficult markets. One or two you might have to leave, but don't leave them all. We are too quick now to exclude. And I think this goes not only for companies, it's also fund money. A lot of what is done also in the financial markets, we need to rethink. There's a value, especially for a small and open economy like Sweden, to keep the world as open as possible.
How worried are you that we are headed that way?
I would definitely say that these have been very bad years, and to point the finger there correctly, I will say that Donald Trump started very much of this.
The Mexicans are rapists. People that are not American are our foes, our enemies. This is the era of America first.
Imposing sanctions even on friends in Europe and other parts of the world. China have followed up, and now we are decoupling because of Russian warfare, but also other authoritarian leaders, excluding everything that they do not accept. But we are doing this from the Western democracies as well.
If you're not perfect, if you're not green enough, if you not do what we want, we exclude you.
To our ESG work, to our financial institutions, we say we exclude this and that. And I think we are doing it too quickly and without thinking of the long-term consequences. Yes, there might be one or two markets we might relax or leave for a while, but we need to be more thorough on our values and try to stay.
But with all due respect, don't you say then that moral is overrated if we should do business with people who don't stand up for certain standards?
No, my point is that I think if Western democracies stick together, the authoritarian-run countries will accept Western values if we are strong enough, because these strong men only answer to force. We have seen that China is able actually to, not now, but earlier on, to trade with the world, accepting Western standards and values, and actually some transparency, as long as it's good for their economy and their development. That's what we need to show. I'm not saying Sweden should be alone. It's very hard to see this happening without support of the United States, United Kingdom, other great and big Western democracies. But we should absolutely take initiatives to do this together with others, because we will be the losers. The small open economies trading with the world will find themselves trading just with the nearby neighbors.
So the strong men are the men, and they're always men. I know no examples of strong women that are destroying the world.
With the war going on nearly at our doorstep, it is hard not to feel the stroke of pessimism looking forward. But when you look to the near future, what do you see?
Yes, I agree. It has been very tough years, rise of authoritarian views, kind of nation-first nationalism that is aggressive, dangerous. But I also see signs of something new. The midterm elections might have been the start of the end of Donald Trump. That means save the democracy and the development of the United States. Bolsonaro in Brazil lost. We see that Putin and Xi Jinping, men I heard just 1-2 years ago, even in Swedish Business Live, was described as macho, strong leaders, maybe of interest to follow. Now it's very clear what they are. They are not good people in the sense that we want a free, open world with respect for each other. And we have seen the same kind of reaction. Macron won again. A lot of the signals of this year is that something is happening in the world. And it's probably the Putin war against Ukraine. One step too far. And he exposed what is the end game of every authoritarian culture war thinking. And now we understand it threatens greatest of values that we need to protect.